There's a few freedoms left.
You're making him sound like somebody ready to get into a prison cage.
Well, you know, it is actually, to a large extent, it is. It's going to be, you know, everybody's going to watch out what he's going to do for the next 6 years. And so it's one of his stress relievers. Smoking is actually, you know,
all right.
I don't smoke either, but most people believe it's a stress reliever.
Yeah, but for me, what is very paramount is what will he do with agrarian reform?
Exactly.
What will he do with poverty?
Okay, but this smoking issue, one last question before we leave it, is that it did get press mileage to the point that Senator Aquino was irritated over the attention, the undue attention that media gave it.
I think this is where we can say really media is a reflection of general society. I think, you know, through the years, you know, the public sentiment against smoking has really increased na rin. Siguro, you know, we have the Western example for that. But I think enough parents do care. And I think especially since, you know, he is going to be president of this republic, and anything he does really will influence people.
Okay, so, somebody from media, Lourdes de Vera, said that, you know, we should cut him some slack. I mean, this is not something that this is not something that we can make a whole issue out of.
I agree, and I think what most people have said was that we understand if he can't quit immediately.
Yeah.
I was a 2-pack a day smoker until I had to quit. But ang hinihingi lang yata is like I suppose other presidents, no, wag sa harap ng camera, wag yung makikita ng mga bata sa TV.
Pwedeng pag-usapan yun. Yeah.
Yung pwedeng pag-usapan. I'm so glad you said that.
Oh, that's good. Now, Edwin, there's another issue where he's going to live. There's a lot of fuss over it, and I know that the lineup of the newscasts include possibilities of where he can stay. Do you think that's an issue, or are we just using this as fodder for news in the absence of any official pronouncements?
I think there's a major issue behind that. It's the issue of security. Senator Aquino prefers to live in Time Street for one reason or another. I think he's also lived in Malacanang before, so he doesn't want to experience that living there. So, but his general preference is to stay in Time Street, but there are security concerns.
Okay.
To go back and forth every day to Malacanang Palace, you know, you want to protect him, and the security group is really, really very concerned. If they were asked to take a free hand over security concerns, they would have imposed that Senator Aquino stay in a safe place, stay in at least the Malacanang compound. But we follow the wishes of the president, and accordingly, we adjust and we take the necessary precautions for the president-elect.
Okay, let's look at this tweet from Girly Reyes, who says, and I quote, "Noynoy smoking, where he will live, who will swear him in, factions within his camp. Will the media please cover other news? Is the media nitpicking on Senator Aquino regarding these particular issues?"
Raissa, yes.
Okay, President Aquino is a phenomenon. So everything he does, where he's going to live, you know, his girlfriend, everything is news.
Okay.
And he has to accept that. And everybody's curious about him, so reporters are going to be digging up as much as they can about him.
Dirt and good stuff all mixed in.
He has to live with that. Okay, at first, it was the people who wanted him to be president, but later on, he decided he wanted to be president, and that is par for the course.
Okay, Attorney Lacierda, Senator Aquino, how is he taking all of this? I mean, this sudden deluge of
there was
reporters
even the
stalking
fact that when he went to the wake of Governor Nantes, that he drove his own car. That was also a concern for some of the journalists I spoke to. I guess it's really par for the course. Everything, he lives in a fishbowl.
Yeah.
And so everything is magnified. So.
Okay, is living in a fishbowl suiting him well, or is this going to be like like the influenza that's going to really consume you as you?
He's doing okay. Look, when you go to a sortie, ang tawag nga sa Pilipino, isubo mo siya ng mikropono, sasagutin at sasagutin niya. In a press conference, he's the one who's going to ask you, meron pa ba kayong ibang tanong? He's the one who really entertains all the questions, and he's not afraid to do that. In fact, there was one issue that he was being asked to appear in a radio program, and I said, what's the worst that he can do? He's so good at answering questions. Sa kanya, natural sa kanya.
Open. It's open.
He's grown to loving it. He's grown to the media attention. But I guess in so far as the smoking is concerned, medyo tama na yun.
Okay, let's put things in perspective. Past presidents that you can recall, Raissa and Inday, were they as roundly criticized, or was the press nitpicking on these little issues that Edwin dubs for the moment as space fillers?
No, I think with President Macapagal Arroyo, I think the press were, we were already bearing down on her pretty heavily.
When she
into 04,
when she hit
but
the
that
ground.
was because already she had already broken a promise and all that thing.
Oh, all right.
But
Raissa?
2001 and up to just before the first coup of Trillanes, she was having pretty good press. And because she was very articulate, I mean, she is very articulate, and she became prettier actually.
Physically prettier.
Yes.
Okay.
The job became her. But the problem came up after, I think, Trillanes, and then she made that promise. And I do believe now that that was only acting. The
All
promise.
right. Well, on that very strong note, we'll be back on Media in Focus, and when we return, we'll talk more about Senator Aquino's relationship with the media and why some journalists say he razzle-dazzles the press.